Hey sparklers, it was neither day nor night. It was neither light nor dark. It was a nothingness. And that is how chaos is described, as a void. But I would like to take a deeper dive into this on how I feel what chaos is as a Hellenic pagan. So do stick around and do watch this and let me know what you feel as well down below.
Empress Sparkle, guardian soul, you turn my fear into gold. Here in your light, I unfold. Ooh, Empress Sparkle, soft and strong, you make me feel I belong. Safe in your circle, I grow.
So as I said, chaos was neither light or darkness. It was neither good nor bad, but it was not nothing. And this is one of the things that frustrates me a lot, is people will call chaos a complete void. But I want people to understand sort of how I see chaos and how I feel chaos. So I want people to sort of understand this, because I think it may change their opinion on what Hesiod, I can never pronounce his name, so I do apologise, so I'll put his book up, was trying to say. So we'll put an explanation of that in my opinion. I have just re-listened to his book because I'm a bit like, can I remember it rightly? And I can. I'm quite pleased with that. I'm quite impressed with myself. So I will comment that down below. So chaos was the beginning. Chaos was the first deity to come into existence. Now, the reason why I don't believe personally chaos is a void is because I believe chaos is all the elements to the Big Bang. And that is how, after chaos actually managed to be, actually didn't give birth to some of the gods and goddesses they also came to be, but how it actually helped the other gods and goddesses to come to be. Because when we think of the Big Bang, and a lot of people forget about the Big Bang, that it's not actually a hypothesis, it's actually a theory, which means it's been proven over and over again. It is elements, it's every particle, it's every molecule, all colliding together, making our planets, making our solar system. So I think this is what I love about the fact when we go back to, 4th century BC, actually I think this is 5th century BC. So when we actually go back to there and we actually think about what they're understanding when they're looking at the elements, they're looking at the molecules, etc., etc., I think this is quite an advanced understanding, if I'm honest. Even though Greeks were amazing and they were extremely smart, they had the goddess Athena, of course they're going to be smart. But where we go into all that sort of thing, when we think about it, this theory that's only recently been found goes with this. So for me, this is what I find amazing, is the fact that we can see how they saw the space, as a massive void when they're looking through their telescopes, etc. But when we actually think about it, they are able to describe it, and they describe it in the form of chaos. And I love that. I think it's amazing. I think it's so important that we actually respect how they managed to see it and see our universe. Not sure how they managed to see it or understand it so well actually in that day and age. So it is amazing. So for me, chaos means the universe. So when I do sort of divination with chaos, it looks very much like the Milky Way, is the way I'm going to explain it, which is our solar system. And chaos it's very strange to divinate with, because chaos for me personally, it just makes me feel like space, etc. It just makes me feel like lots of molecules. It's very strange feeling. when I divinate with chaos. And obviously chaos brought into existence, so everyone believes that it brought into existence Mother Gaia, etc. But actually in the book they came to existence. So we need to remember that in Odysseus it explains that they came into existence, which to me would explain, when we think about the fact that chaos, the Big Bang, the only thing that truly came into existence was space due to the Big Bang, who then led into day. So when we actually think about the way they're thinking, etc., it makes sense. And this is why I say our gods are personifications for things. Because when you think about the fact it gave birth to Ibra and Nyx, which is darkness and night, and then they gave birth to day and light. When we actually think about that, like actually physically think about that, that makes sense for the Big Bang, because not long after the Big Bang the sun come into play, which obviously the sun then is our star that gives us daytime. So when we actually think about this and stuff like that, in a way this is their processing system for how the universe started scientifically. But for me also it's the personification, so their energy is real, so they do have real energy around them. So I know scientists say, how can you mix science with facts? What the heck? How can you mix science and mythology? And this personally is how I do my take on things. So for me personally, this is one of the things that actually helps me to understand where the gods and goddesses thinking was. Not the gods and goddesses, the ancient Greeks thinking was. And for me it's very, very much before their time, for me personally. And I think this is one of the important things that we need to understand, is the fact of that it is an energy force. If it wasn't an energy force, our scientists wouldn't have been able to actually do an experiment to possibly prove it. So I'm going to disappear now. It's only a quick one. Sadly, there's not much written in the books of chaos, so it's more from sort of my feel, and it's also more from the little bit from the books about chaos, and a little bit about how, for me personally, science proves chaos's existence by proving the existence of the universe. Because as I say, they're both energy. So anyway guys, I hope you've enjoyed this, and don't forget, one of the most important things in life, keep sparkling.